less fun than that one, but I'll try. So it's entitled, "Before we go reanimating dead American heroes, let us all consider the inaccuracies of the elementary history textbook as shouted by a paranoid man from a dumpster behind the gas station." You know George Washington? I bet he'd be pissed off if he knew the cherry tree stories in every second grade class curriculum in America. He'd be all, "I was the first president of the United States of America. What is this fascination with the tree? I did a lot of impressive things in my life, and I don't count that as one of them." And we'd be all, "For some reason your commitment to the truth is really interesting," to a second grade history teacher. He'd be all, "I made that up." And then there'd be that awkwardness about finding out that Washington lied about never lying and said in front of a crowd of second graders. Then he'd be wondering about how George Washington picked up our vernacular so quickly after coming back to life. Then he'd start wondering why you chose to bring George Washington back to life in front of a second grade history class. Now that was a strange venue choice. Why did you think that would be a good idea? Then he'd be staring at those wooden teeth. Then he'd have to figure out what to do with George Washington. That's another mouth to feed. Can you really afford that? He'd probably need a lot of dental work. Not one of those give a mouse a cookie issues. Those are just a few words I have about George Washington. Now what's the deal with Johnny Appleseed? Why the hell do you wear a pot on his head? Trying to be America's first pothead? Was that for warmth, fashion, or protection? Because I bet there's a whole bunch of stuff better than pots for those uses. He'd be hell confused if he came to life. Because one, how I even come back to life? And two, how my applesauce gets smeared all over America's elementary school curriculum. Who cares how apples got spread across Pennsylvania? Put me down for not caring. What kind of apple-pushing conspiracy are these teachers caught up in? It's not like Pennsylvania is known as the apple capital of the world anyway. I can think of like 4 people who are more important than Johnny Appleseed. I found the spread of oranges around Asia and eventually Europe and the Americas way more interesting. Teachers blew apple's importance to American history way out of proportion. Why don't we ever read about Johnny Orange Seed? Don't give me no nonsense about the difficulty of growing a tropical plant in New England. Don't want to hear it. Tell me about Southeast Asia circa 2500 BCE and damn oranges. Don't make me watch another superhero origin story until you bring me a blockbuster about the origins domination of the globe. Now that's an origin story. I doubt his name was even Appleseed. Sounds like bull. Appleseed don't sound like a name. It's too convenient. Crazy with apples after he found out his name was Appleseed? But he changed his name. Nah, I bet Appleseed just fits the propaganda better. That's what I bet. You ever heard of Abraham Lincoln? If you listen to third grade teachers, something I recommend you don't do under any circumstances. All you know about him is hat and 3 slaves. Thanks, third grade history. That'll come in handy. I saw that on Jeopardy like 3 nights in a row. I could probably make a living on that knowledge solely. Psych! That's clearly not an in-depth enough look at the man who led us through the Civil War. I bet if he came back to life, he'd be so mad he wouldn't be impressed he wasn't dead anymore. I bet he was racist too. And what about Rutherford B. Hayes? What does the grade school teacher conspirators tell us about the 19th president of the whole Surveyor? Not a peep. What are they trying to cover up? I want to bring him back to life just to ask him what the hell